Don't swallow their lies. This is basically just going to be another quick recap on why it's so important for us to read the ingredient labels. I cannot stress this enough. This is an $8 trillion industry. They do not care what they're putting in this food as long as we are buying it and as long as they are making money. So in order for us to truly live a happy, healthy life, make sure that we are consuming products that make us feel good, consuming products that help us reach our goals. It is so important for us to take the time and read the labels and kind of understand them and just know what to look for. But right here, I just want to touch base on some of these labels that you might see, like all natural, made with real honey, heart healthy. Some of this shit that they're putting on the front of the box, because the more that they throw in your face in the front is the more they're trying to deter us from what's really happening in that ingredient label in the back of the box. Now, if you are on that 80-20 diet, maybe that 20% you're a little bit more lenient. But if you are not so much on the 80-20, maybe you're consuming a little bit more processed foods than eventually you would like, but right now that's what's happening and that's what you can fit into your diet, then really reading the ingredients and not, just grabbing what we think is healthy right off the bat. Now, what is it costing us? It is costing us not only our health, because highly processed foods, highly processed sugars, highly processed junk that is clogging up our arteries. There's so many health issues that can go into from just consuming these products, and also our money. We are spending so much money on these products that are, they're healthy. We're going to have radiant skin. It's going to help our immunity. These companies pay people, branding, all types of things to know what words are going to stick with you. We have words that we associate with healthy, light, gluten-free, organic. This stuff is what we consider healthy, and we trust these labels. We trust these, companies, not really knowing what we're putting into our body. Some of the keywords might look like, all natural. Non-GMO is something that we do want. We don't want to be having these genetically modified foods into our body, but heart healthy, probiotics, added protein. Now, just because it says that it is good in one area, it doesn't mean the whole product is good. Just because it has added protein, it could also have a shit ton of added sugar. Just because it says it's organic doesn't mean that organic sugar is, healthier than raw sugar. It just doesn't work that way. As well as all natural. If you see something that says all natural or natural flavors, that doesn't even have a definition if you look on the FDA's website. So try to really, ignore all the labeling, ignore all the bullshit that they have in front, and really turn over the packaging and start reading a little bit more. Even let's say a company says they are very misleading. That's all I'm going to say. Because if they say, okay, this is less fat, less protein than maybe their standard product, it might be less fat, but it could have even more added sugars. And it could be, just 4% less fat than the other shitty brand that they were trying to sell you before. So this is where they get you. As well as talk about reading labels, it could say it has a great source of vitamin C. That could be also with added sugars, or a great source of vitamin, D. Plus, you have to drink a whole gallon of milk once you, buy that product to actually get that full source. They know what they're doing. We have to be smarter than that. Because like I said, this is a very high profitable industry. And so many people, why do you think there is hundreds of different chips? Why do you think there's hundreds of different eggs out there on the market? As well as when we get into, organic and things like that, the best thing to do if you're able to is going to be buy local, buy from farms that I'm not going to go into it, but like if you want to do some research, go on YouTube, check how, something from Mexico is basically grown in Mexico and somehow ends up on our table. Just the process that fruit or that, whatever we might be purchasing has to go through to get on your kitchen table is amazing. So if you can really, regulate where you're getting your produce from, what type of pesticides they're putting on there, what type of nitrates they're putting into your meat, that is going to be huge. As well as knowing these nitrates. For instance, it might say nitrate free. However, if it has celery root, that is still a nitrate. They just are changing around these words, making you think that it's healthier for you. And this isn't to scare you or isn't to say, oh, we shouldn't be eating that at all. But I'm just saying when we're making these healthier choices, it is important to really make sure we're considering what is healthy and what isn't. Going back on the labeling, just remember that just because it says non-GMO, just because it says gluten-free, all these products doesn't necessarily mean that the ingredients in there are healthy for you. As well as the FDA doesn't really have any true definitions on what these, labelings really mean. It could be, slightly, low calorie. So they're going to put low calorie all in the front. There's so many different, meanings, and it's so misleading. That's why we have to kind of just know how to read the ingredient label, know how to read the nutrition facts, and know what we're putting into our body. Right here, whole grains, a lot of things, we're all about getting our whole grains. We like our healthy carbohydrates around here. So when we're talking about whole grains, make sure the first ingredient in this product, like number one on that list, is going to be 100% whole wheat. Now, multigrain and whole grain is not the same thing, but instead of getting just something made with whole grains, make sure it is 100% whole grains. Same with fruit. We all like, fruits. We like our pastries filled with fruit, made with real fruit filling. No. If you want real fruit, eat the dang real fruit. Don't even be bothered with this sugar-filled fruit over here. Because as much as I say stay away from artificial sugar, we also need to watch and limit our natural sugars as well. So I would rather you get it from a nice, like, natural apple than this artificial fruit that they're shoving in something, making us want to buy it. Same thing with the lightly sweetened. Light in oil could be the light color. Light could be, there's so many different definitions, but they know that we all want to feel light, right? Like, we want to feel light in our diet. We want to feel light. Of course, our food wants to be light too. So really dive back into that, and we want to make sure we're looking for no sugar added. All right, that is our recap for not feeding into their lies. There's so many different videos out there. Take the time if you're into it. If not, just be cautious and be mindful of when you are buying this processed food, and really, compare the labels. Make sure it's not filled with added sugars. Make sure it's not filled with a bunch of unhealthy fats. We want to stay away from those trans fats. Even if it has saturated fats, I'd rather you have a decent, a higher saturated fat than a higher amount of added sugar, because like I said before, sugar is not the enemy. However, it can become your worst nightmare if we do not get it under control, so we can really reach our goals and really make sure we are living the happiest, healthy life that we can.